Saturday, September 17th, Triple G, Canelo Alvarez. It goes down the third time. The fight nobody asked for, but that's the one we're going to get, and that's the fight I'm going to break down. This is your boy, JG. This is the Punch Report. Let's go. Like I said before, y'all, welcome back to the channel. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. Please like, subscribe, bell icon for notification. Let's get right into the content. Like I said before at the top, Canelo Alvarez, Triple G, Part 3 is going down again. How have these combatants fared up so far? So we know one fight scored a draw. A lot of people felt like Triple G won. The second fight goes to Canelo Alvarez. Both close fights, both good fights. In this video, two keys to victory for both combatants. I'm going to start with Canelo Alvarez. He has to get back to the counterpunching. There was some struggles with Dmitry Bivol. Obviously, his physical dimensions are very different from a Gennady Golovkin. But if we take a look at the clip here, you'll watch how really Dmitry Bivol was able to dominate the distance, control the range, and keep Canelo on the outside. And when Canelo went to mount any offense, he was doing it from either too far out or not setting it up at all, just trying to line power to the arms, to the body, and sometimes go upstairs. He struggled to do so. But when I talk about Canelo Alvarez's counterpunching, one of the best examples I can provide from that is if you go back to Canelo Alvarez, Miguel Cotto. Let's take a look at the clips right here. Time and time again, able to identify both lead hand shots and shots coming off the strong side, slip and counter, catch and counter, parry and counter, and make Miguel Cotto pay time and time again. If you go over to this next clip, the Billy Joe Saunders fight, this was a tremendous fight where Billy Joe Saunders had success in spots. He utilized a tremendous jab. He moved about the ring well. But when it came to closing the distance, committing, Canelo Alvarez was able to identify, acquire the target, slip and counter. And you see on the final shot right here where he explodes Billy Joe Saunders' eye is a perfect counter shot, and he gets him out of there. This is the Canelo Alvarez that he has to return to. And I think he's going to be able to do so against a guy like Triple G, and we'll get into that in a little bit. The second key to victory for Canelo Alvarez, and this will not come as a surprise to most individuals who know about Triple G, one, and know about two, it's a strength of Canelo Alvarez if he can get to it, is the body attack. He's a vicious body puncher. I could put 700 clips in here of him destroying body parts and exploding people's, livers and shit like that, but I'm not going to. If you guys want to see it, look it up. Triple G at this point right now in his career is extremely vulnerable to the body. See Sergey Derevyanchenko, Steve Rolls was able to do a little bit of work. And put him in a position. Even, Rayo Murata, he didn't have the biggest pop and power, but he was able to get to the body pretty much when he wanted to. Matter of fact, let's take a look at the clip right here. Rayo Murata really invested in the body well. Triple G proved to be durable against Murata. I don't want to see him try that against Canelo, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But the body attack is going to be crucial for one Canelo Alvarez. So those two keys to victory. I mean, it really is that simple. These combatants, I don't want to say they're evenly matched, but the familiarity is going to create a scenario where you might just see a continuation of the last round of the second fight, and they just get right back to the money. The body punching, the counter punching for Canelo Alvarez are going to be the primary keys to victory, because from a defensive perspective, we'll get into it in a little bit here, I don't think there's much that Triple G offers Canelo that's going to have to make him get deep into his bag and show us something that we haven't seen before, or he's going to have to bite down. I could be wrong, but it's not likely. Now, that's for Canelo. Let's switch over to Triple G. Now, this one's going to be a little difficult for me to lay out because I think Triple G's facing an uphill battle. I think he'll be 40, maybe 41 by the time they fight. I think he's 40 now. So he'll be 40 by the time they fight. The Rayo Murata victory that he just had, he fought in Japan. I believe that was back in April. Good victory, stoppage. His mobility is a concern for me. We'll get into that in a little bit. But if you go back and you watch the Triple G fight with Kamil Sherezmeta, that was the best version of him. We know that he fought Steve Rolls and then Sergey Derevyanchenko. The Derevyanchenko fight was his first fight, I believe, with Jonathan Banks. Then he fought Kamil Sherezmeta, where he looked way better in that fight. Good movement. His jab was busy. He knocked him down 4 times. And he looked like really the Triple G of old. He was coming around, learning Jonathan Banks, putting himself in a position to be more familiar with what his coach is expecting from him and how he applies that in real time. Then you see the Rayo Murata fight, and I feel like you saw a bit of a regression. Now, one of the things that's important to note about that particular bout is that was a long ass layoff between Camille Serres-Meta and then Ryota Murata in that fight in Japan. It got postponed once due to COVID, and they stayed committed to that fight, fighting in Japan. And that was a unification bout too, at 160 pounds. They stayed committed to making sure that that bout happened, so that's what we got. But in that fight, which we're going to get into right now, Triple G, he showed good power. His chin is still there, but he was getting touched to the body. Now, let's get into the first key of victory for Triple G. This is easy. It's the jab. He has a historical jab. So accuracy and power. Take a look at the clip here. If you're dropping a guy trading jabs and Camille Serres-Meta, and I think at this time Serres-Meta was 18-0, unknown guy, but this jab, the shot that we're looking at here is historic in nature. He's done this to many guys. He's battered people with a jab, a lead hand shot, to the point where they say it feels like Gabe Rosado said, getting hit by Triple G's jab is like getting hit by a guy with a powerful right hand. You have a weapon like that, you have to figure out a way to deploy it effectively against a guy like a Canelo Alvarez. Like I mentioned, he doesn't have the physical dimensions of a Dimitri Bivol to make him live on the outside. But if you can hurt him, slow him down, make him reconsider his approach, obviously that's going to spell success for you moving forward, especially if the fight goes deeper into the later rounds. That was cake. The second one is going to require a little bit of explanation, because it's going to require that Triple G do something that he's really never done. He has to be somebody that he's never really been. Triple G cannot be stationary. He has to be a moving target. If you go back to the Ryota Murata fight, let's take a look at the clips here, and I'm going to slow him down a little bit. Standing in front of Canelo Alvarez in a high guard, looking to land a left hook to the body and then go upstairs will get you stopped or knocked out. Now, Canelo Alvarez, he hasn't been one-shotting people for quite some time, but, he put it on Billy Joe, broke his eye up, and then, he stopped Caleb Plant with a leaping left hook that looked great, and then a short right-hand shot. But with his ability to body punch and the fact that right now Triple G appears to be vulnerable in that particular area, him standing in front of Canelo, just trying to counter and get his left hand off and do that shit where he punches on the top of the head, and just that forehead joint, he punched you right there. But if he feels as though he's just going to stand in front of a Canelo Alvarez at this stage in his career, Canelo Alvarez coming off of a loss, he's coming back down to his weight class. Triple G's going up to 68, a weight class he's never fought in, and just take the pounding to the body that Canelo Alvarez will likely be putting on you as he counters that jab. It's going to be, if it's not a short night, it's going to be a painful night. It's going to result in you pissing blood, and no one wants to see that. Keys to victory for a Triple G. Utilize the jab, and you got to get on your bike a little bit. You got to create a moving target, and you have to fight off rhythm. You have to give Canelo multiple things to think about. I think about the Caleb Plant fight. He fought really, really well. He just has no pop. So Canelo didn't have to really get overly fancy. I feel like he lost way more rounds than he wanted to. And in spots, Caleb Plant looked really sharp, really good. The pressure that Canelo applied to Caleb Plant began to be too much for him. And the real punching power of Canelo Alvarez wore him down. As to where you see Caleb Plant, who was effective with his jab, countered really well off the ropes. He did a lot of things really, really well, but he had no respectable power. It's kind of like a breathtaking thing, because Caleb Plant, if he just had a little more pop, I think he wins that fight. And I think if their rematch, he beats him again, because Caleb Plant's that skilled. He's a tremendous boxer. But if I don't have to respect you punching me in the face or one of the body, I can just walk your shit down, then that's going to spell a recipe for disaster for that particular combatant. Triple G has to figure out a way to utilize his power. He has power in both hands, get that amazing jab off, and be busy with his feet. And at this advanced age for him, a fighter going into a new division, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. I don't know if I don't see it happening, but that's what it's going to take for him to beat a Canelo Alvarez, who I think is going to be coming in here pissed off and ready to prove a point. Will that point be received? I don't know. If he beats up on Triple G in the manner that I think he's going to beat up on, spoiler alert, then it will be expected. Older Triple G, he's talked about retirement, fighting in a new weight class against a younger dude, Canelo Alvarez, coming back to a division where he's undisputed. He should come in there and put a beating on him. With those things being said, my final prediction is this. It's really two outcomes. Triple G is going to get, Canelo Alvarez is going to get a 7 to 9 round stoppage to the body, or accumulation damage, maybe corner stoppage, or it's going to be a 12 round affair with a couple good exchanges, but ultimately Canelo's just going to put a beating on Triple G, the likes that we've never seen. I mean, Triple G's never going to be knocked down. I've never seen Triple G buzz. I've never seen him do the stanky leg. And maybe those things don't happen. He's extraordinarily durable. But so is Canelo. And Canelo's fresh right now. He has better hand speed. He has more tools in his toolbox right now at this stage in the game. And the familiarity for both ends, yes, works for both individuals. But for Canelo right now, and watching the slight regression of a Triple G, I don't see the scenario where it works out for Triple G in his favor. Shout out to him for getting this fight, taking this fight. You know, it's a money fight. I don't know if it's going to do numbers. There's a lot of groaning about who the hell wants to watch this potential matchup. I'm going to check it out because why not? I just broke the fight down. Quick recap. Keys to victory for Canelo Alvarez. Get back to the counter punching, especially those Cotto days. Even Billy Joe Saunders, he looked good there. And the body attack. He's going to wreck Triple G's body because it's too easy to hit him to the body, and he's been struggling to take it for quite some time. If you're Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, you gotta utilize that jab. It's a historic all-time jab. It's both accurate and powerful, and you have to have more mobility at this age in the game right now, doing something you haven't done before, which is being active with the feet. But that's been my time. This is your boy JG. Let me know what you guys think of the breakdown. If you made it this far, you're definitely a real one. Like I said before, the top, like, subscribe, bell icon for notification. This has been the Punch Report. We out.